Okay, so get this right. AI just won, not one, but 2 Nobel Prizes this week.
Yeah, it's pretty wild when you think about it.
It's not even for, like, world peace, though, you know?
Maybe next year.
Right, maybe next year. But seriously, AI winning Nobels.
Yeah.
So we're diving deep into AI today, the breakthroughs, the business side, how it's going to change things.
Right.
Even if it wants to, like, help you get a job or just take it from you entirely, you know?
It's a lot to unpack.
Don't worry, we'll cover that, and we'll also get to the latest on inflation, what's happening with the economy, all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the speed that AI is advancing at it's really remarkable. And these Nobel Prizes, they're not just for some random algorithm.
Right.
This is, a real fundamental shift in how we understand and use this technology now.
Yeah. Okay, so first up, AI winning a Nobel Prize in physics. I mean, this isn't a movie, this is real.
Yeah.
So what exactly was it about AI that won it such a big science award?
Well, it really comes down to the work of researchers like Geoffrey Hinton. You might have heard him called the godfather of AI.
Okay.
And his work on neural networks, specifically these things called deep neural networks, back in the 1980s, was groundbreaking, to say the least. It's like he created this whole new language for computers and understand the world,
So neural networks, those are like the building blocks of AI as we know it.
Exactly, yeah. Imagine teaching a computer to think like our brains do, learning from just tons and tons of data. That's neural networks. And Hinton's work led to a lot of things we just take for granted now. Image recognition, when your phone knows a picture of your dog.
Right.
Natural language processing, like how these virtual assistants understand what you're saying. It's all built on that.
Wow. So he kind of gave AI the tools to go from like science fiction to actual reality.
Exactly.
And the Nobel Prize Committee recognized how important that was.
Yeah, for sure.
And then AI wins again in chemistry, this time for AlphaFold, which is developed by Google's DeepMind. So AlphaFold's a big deal because
It's huge. Just imagine being able to predict the 3D structure of proteins really accurately.
Okay.
It's basically like having a cheat sheet to understanding diseases, and developing new medicines. It's a complete revolution in medicine and biology, all thanks to AI.
Okay, I remember from like high school biology that proteins are these really important molecules in our bodies, but why is their shape so important?
So think of proteins like tiny little machines. They carry out almost every biological process in our body, right?
Okay.
And their shape determines exactly how they work, how they interact with other molecules, even how they go wrong in diseases.
So it's like if you know the shape of a key, you know what door it unlocks.
Exactly. And before AlphaFold, figuring out a protein structure, oh man, it was so slow, so expensive, it could take years, cost millions of dollars.
Wow.
Now AlphaFold can predict these structures incredibly accurately, often in just a few days, even hours, and way cheaper.
That's incredible. It's like going from drawing a map by hand to just having Google Maps tell you the fastest route.
Exactly. And what this means is huge. I mean, this technology is already speeding up how fast we can discover new drugs, helping scientists develop new treatments for all kinds of things, cancer, Alzheimer's. It can even help design new materials and tackle environmental challenges.
So we've got AI potentially curing diseases. Okay, that's impressive.
Right.
But enough about these prizes and stuff. What about AI that I can actually use every day?
Well, how about an AI shopping assistant?
Okay.
Walmart just launched this thing called Wallaby. It's their own large language model designed to handle, those kind of complicated questions you might have when you're shopping.
Hold on, large language model? What does that even mean?
Yeah, it sounds kind of,
A little jargony.
jargony, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it's a type of AI that's been trained on a huge amount of text data. And this training lets it understand and generate human-like text, like you ask it a question, it'll give you an answer in response, like you're having a conversation with a really, really smart computer.
So Walmart's Wallaby, is it going to be like recommending snacks to go with my grocery list?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, imagine getting instant answers to even your most complicated questions about a product.
Right.
No more digging through those FAQs online. No more waiting on hold forever.
Oh, that's the dream.
Right. Just clear, helpful responses anytime, day or night.
That actually does sound pretty useful. But if AI is taking over customer service like that, does that mean humans are going to be out of a job?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
It's more like AI is adding to what humans can do, not completely replacing them. Like, take Zoom, for example.
Okay.
They're rolling out these AI-powered avatars that can actually attend meetings for you.
Wait, AI avatars in meetings? Like what? Instead of me?
Think of it as a stand-in for those times you're double booked or
Yeah.
just need a break.
Yeah.
You know, you can give the AI your notes and it'll go to the meeting for you.
What?
It can even take notes and summarize the key points for you later.
So instead of me just staring at my to-do list during a meeting that I don't want to be in, I can send my AI avatar and actually get work done.
Exactly.
Okay, that's kind of brilliant. So is this the future of work then? Are we all going to be sending our AI clones to meetings while we, I don't know, take a nap?
It's a question a lot of people are asking.
It is a fascinating thought, isn't it? Sending our AI selves to meetings. But while AI is out there changing the future, we've got some, real world stuff to deal with too, like inflation, which feels like it's in the news every day now.
Yeah, for sure.
It jumped to 2.4% in September.
Yeah, and it was higher than everyone thought it was going to be.
Right.
Which, a little inflation's not always a bad thing. When the economy's growing, a little inflation is normal.
Right.
But this is causing some concern,
So for those of us who aren't experts in economics, what does this actually mean? Is everything about to get a lot more expensive all of a sudden?
Well, it's not so much about a sudden price jump as, like you said, a gradual thing. Your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to.
Right.
What you could buy a year ago for $100 might cost you $102.40 today.
Right.
And if your paycheck isn't keeping up, it means you're losing buying power over time.
Ouch. So it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts instead of one big one with these prices.
Yeah, kind of. And, this jump we're seeing, it's probably because of a bunch of things all happening at once. We've been hearing about energy costs going up, those supply chain issues that just don't seem to want to go away. And people are spending more as the economy recovers from the pandemic, so, higher demand.
Right, those supply chain problems. It seems like every week it's something new that's out of stock.
Yeah, exactly. It really highlights how interconnected the global economy is, When one part of the system is messed up, it can really mess things up for everyone.
Okay, so it sounds like inflation is a bit of a mess. What can people actually do about it? Besides, I don't know, get a bigger shopping cart.
Well, it's not just about cutting back. It's about being smart with your money. First off, you really got to have a budget, know where your money's going, see where you can cut back, maybe try to find deals on the things you need.
So bargain hunting, essentially.
Exactly. Check out those discount stores, maybe buy in bulk if you can. And don't forget about coupons and those loyalty programs. They can actually add up.
Right. It all makes a difference. What about bigger financial stuff, though? Is now a good time to buy a house or a car?
Those are big decisions.
Yeah.
In this economy, you really have to be careful. If you're thinking long-term, though, things like real estate can be a good hedge against inflation.
A hedge.
Yeah, so as inflation eats away at how much your money is worth,
Yeah.
those assets should go up in value. You're not losing as much buying power. But, any investment has risks. Do your research, talk to a financial advisor, that kind of thing.
Right. Don't just base your financial decisions on what you hear on, any podcast, really, even this one. Speaking of big money decisions, what's the deal with this huge federal deficit everyone's talking about? One article mentioned $1.8 trillion. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big number.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something to pay attention to. That much debt, it can really impact the economy.
So, in English, what happens? When we're talking trillions of dollars, how could that affect regular people?
Well, one worry is that it could push interest rates up.
Okay.
And that means it'll be more expensive to borrow money, like for a house or a car.
So it's this big, scary debt cloud that could eventually make everything more expensive?
It's a worry, for sure. Economists are watching it closely. But, there are things we can do to try to head that off.
Like what? Besides winning the lottery and paying off the national debt ourselves?
Well, responsible government spending would be a good start. Making sure the money going out is being used wisely. And taxes, making sure that system is fair and bringing in enough revenue. It's complicated, but it matters. It affects us all.
Right. It's not like what happens in Washington stays in Washington or anything. Okay, so we've got AI winning Nobel Prizes, robots maybe going to meetings for us, inflation making everything more expensive, and this massive national debt looming over it all. I need a break.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it just shows how quickly things are changing, With technology and with the economy, what's important is to understand these things. The more we know, better decisions we can make.
Totally. But can we get back to those robots attending meetings real quick? Because
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how to put that on my expense report.
That might be tricky.
Yeah, right. Anyway, going back to AI, let's talk about jobs. We touched on this earlier with those AI job bots. Are those going to make it even harder to find a job? So those AI job bots, are they going to be the end of us actually getting hired ever again?
Well, it's a question on a lot of people's minds these days, and for good reason. But it's not really about robots taking everyone's jobs. It's about understanding how things are changing,
Okay.
Like these AI tools, they can write cover letters, they can fix up your resume, even send out those applications to all the right places way faster than we can.
So it's like having this superpower for job hunting, but everyone gets to use it.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
I mean, that's good for job seekers, right?
It can be, especially, for folks who don't have a ton of time or maybe don't know all the ins and outs of applying for jobs. It can level the playing field.
But there's always a but, right?
Of course, there's always a catch. The question becomes, how do you stand out when everyone's using these tools, right? And that's where I think the really human stuff comes in.
Okay.
Creativity, thinking outside the box,
Yeah.
knowing how to solve problems, emotional intelligence, that kind of stuff. That's what AI can't do, at least not yet.
So it's not just about what's on your resume anymore. It's about showing who you are as a person.
Yeah, exactly. And employers are starting to see that. A perfect resume doesn't mean a perfect employee, right?
Yeah.
They want people who can think for themselves, who can roll with the punches, who bring something new to the table.
So basically what you're saying is don't freak out about the robot takeover just yet.
Exactly. Focus on those human skills, the things that make you you.
Got it.
Never stop learning, be curious, adapt to whatever's coming next. Who knows, maybe one day you'll be working with AI.
Working with AI, not replaced by AI. I like that. Well, we have covered a lot today. AI winning Nobel Prizes, the economy, what's going on with jobs, even those AI avatars attending meetings for us.
That's a lot.
My brain is like full.
It's a lot to process, for sure. But hey, we're not just along for the ride here, We can make choices, adapt, learn, and do well in this crazy changing world.
Right. Whether it's getting better at those human skills we were talking about, or just paying closer attention to our bank accounts, or even just, being interested in the world, learning new stuff. Knowledge is power, as they say.
That's right.
Even if it's about AI coming for our jobs. Well, that's it for this deep dive into, everything. Thanks for sticking with us as we explored AI, the economy, you name it. Until next time, keep learning, everyone.